Good morning and welcome back to the channel. Today is another Wild Eye review for Gary's Movie Emporium here today. Uh, I'm calling this Wild Eye Week, if you will, if you're just tuning in to this series I've done this week. I've been kind of focusing on the Wild Eye titles because I kind of got behind and I kind of owe it to Wild Eye for getting behind by so much. The Dollar Tree's really put me behind this this wave because I spaced my videos out a little bit because I had some things going on with a house and things like that, and I kind of got behind on the channel. But welcome to the channel on this Monday morning. I'm actually making this video on my wife's day off, so at least there's a little bit less stress for today. But let's get started. You don't want to hear about that. Today's movie is the movie Demon Mother, aka Shapeshifter from 2020 or 2010, but it was actually distributed through Wild Eye in 2021. It's currently airing on Tubi TV. It's has the little bit of a moniker. It says "She breeds, you bleed." It stars Sienna Aldridge, Daniel Martin Berkey, Martin Dove, Maria de Jesus Castellon, and Max DeMentor, who's also a director in this as well. Max DeMentor also did Conjuring the Devil and Lifeform. Music was done by Mike Ansel. Visual effects by Joey Pruitt. They're calling it Fatal Attraction meets The Howling. They also say it's a late night zombie movie made for Cinemax, so you're going to kind of get that it has a little bit of raunchy activity in this one. I'm just going to warn you. I'm not going to go into detail about some of the nude scenes and all that, but it is horror, and usually today's horror tends to have a decent amount of nudity, just some more than others. Well, this physical disc has on its special features. It has a trailer, scene selection, closed captioning for the hearing impaired, and it comes to us via 2.0 stereo. I guess on Amazon this was released on February 23rd, 2021, so somewhere in that time frame this had physical disc for Wild Eye. Basically, the movie starts off with a car chase and gunfire as a guy and a girl. We're not really told who they are because it's kind of like we're going into this movie with blinders on, if you will. The girl sounds abnormally weird when she's talking, and we don't really, like I said, we don't really know what's going on, and she's really sounding weird and distorted. Sounds like she's possessed or like kind of like in creature mode or whatever. Apparently, they took a car that's established, and they're low on gas. Or the guy mentions that they're low on gas, and he says they should have filled up at the last town. They pull over. They plan to jump out of the car and then run when the men pull up to them. It gets a bit flashy after that in the movie, kind of like head games kind of thing going on. Basically, the man is having like past recollection or recollect, more or less recollections of what his past memories, stuff that make you ask yourself exactly what is going on in the movie, more or less, because you don't know much because it's just started. Turns out the guy's name is Ben. We get to delve into his life with his girlfriend Elise early on. He has personal issues that are bothering him, though. Everything around him when he's leaving his apartment is being muddled and annoying. Like talking's distorted, and I don't know, just everything seems to be on slow motion whenever he sees somebody on the street. He runs into a redhead whose name is Nina at a bar where she tells him that she's concerned about him and his well-being, and she begins to playfully flirt with him. It kind of felt like she was like just randomly went up to him, like she was stalking him, more or less, like she'd been watching him for a while. More or less, she pretends to read his thoughts and what is the makeup of Ben more or less about what makes him tick and what he does, like for like what's going on in his mind and things like that. But Ben gets kind of, I don't know if he gets kind of like not creeped out, but kind of like loses interest and leaves the bar. Uh, he leaves the bar and he sees a. It looks like to be a pimp bothering his the prostitute, like he's beating her around. Ben returns home to his girlfriend, and he asks her why she's even still with him. Uh, I guess because he's been acting weird and things of that nature. And she asks him if there's someone else in his life, and there's not at this point, at least not to my knowledge. This much into the movie, there's nothing going on with him and any girls. Someone knocks at the door. It's later determined they're monster hunters that have left photographs of dead people at his door, and he opens the pictures, and they're, like I said, they're all cadavers. He sees the girl that he met at the party after he leaves, after he's looks at the pictures. You can see her walking up the sidewalk. It's like kind of uncanny that she would know, be in his area of where he lives. So it's kind of sending you like there's something going on with this redheaded girl. A car from out of nowhere tries to shoot at her, but I'm not really sure at this point if he was trying to shoot at her or him, because later on, it's revealed that Ben and Nina are both of these what do they call them? Shriven. They're Shriven as a creature, like over time it was a species. It's determined that Ben is actually connected to Nina in a way because they're both Shriven. Let's see. Right off, you feel a little bit of chemistry between Nina and Ben. Elise walks in on, at some point, Elise walks in on them having sex. And at this point, he is now seeing somebody, more or less. And it kind of like was unexpected. I mean, it really wasn't unexpected, but it was so sudden that, because like he hadn't cheated or anything like that. I don't know if it's just because they're both what's called as the Shriven. We see a guy in a science lab with a needle, some weird elixir that he injects into a cat. The cat gets free and is mutated into a much bigger kitty, if you will. More or less, he tries to attack the science lab guy. The cat was injected with a substance known as a new, they refer to it as the new batch. Basically, they're trying to make this new batch to try and stop the Shriven, because if they administer the serum to the Shriven, they're more or less going to stop them from being able to turn. So there's no monster, there won't be no need to kill, there won't be any dead bodies, and they're trying to basically hunt down the Shriven and administer this. But apparently the elixir only lasts for 2 minutes for when they put it on this cat, but then it goes back to itself again, which is really not what they're looking for, and they're trying to patent it so that it more or less, the elixir will work full time. Then we see Ben and Nina head to what Nina says is a surprise when we get there. Nina's taking them someplace, and they're being followed again by the monster hunters, by a man and woman that are running after them on foot. They hide in the alley from the people pursuing them. And out of nowhere, a guy jumps to both of them, and that too is later determined that was all a setup that Nina had set up just so she could just so Ben could kill for the first time and feed, so he more or less doesn't, get weak and die, because the Shriven are a species that if they don't kill, uh, they can die. They need death basically. But in the scene, the guy jumps both of them and he tries to rape Nina. It's just I don't think he was actually going to go through with it, because it was like I said, I think I think it was mentioned that it was a setup later on. Uh, at this point of the movie, I didn't even know Ben was a monster, and then the monster comes out and he claws at the guy. And then Nina takes over for him because he doesn't really want to, go through with killing, because he doesn't like, that aspect of being a Shriven, even though he needs it to survive. So she takes over and she basically starts slashing away at his chest. And it's pretty gruesome effects, really well done. The couple chasing them, once Nina and Ben get away, are being chased by this couple still, but the couple that are chasing them find the body. They find the body, and they're like, they're repulsed at what they have found. Uh, but at this point, Ben and Nina have already gotten away. Seems like Nina and Ben have some hunters on their tail in this, it's established as they're staking out everyone of their moves when they leave their apartment or when they go somewhere. That they're always staking out Ben and Nina. We see Elise go back to Ben's apartment to get an item. I don't know if at this point she was trying to go back and get all of her stuff, because she planned on leaving them because she found them in bed with Nina. But not before she runs into Nina, and Nina gets kind of creepy with her, saying, "Oh, maybe you should join us," and kind of a kinky, approach to the way she went to her when she came to the apartment. Kind of creeped her out, and basically she more or less leaves. Um, Later shown, Ben is in the bathroom, and it looks like he's cutting his wrist because he doesn't want to be this creature. He doesn't. I think he'd rather be dead at this point than have to, kill, because he just does not seem like. I mean, I know he's an early Shriven, and he knows he's a monster, but I don't think he wants to be, and he didn't really, he's not really embracing it, if you will. Uh, let's see. Yeah, I'll skip that part because I already mentioned that. But apparently, the Shriven were made via basically cast off. They were made from cast off sins of good Christians, if you will. Uh, Nina tells him a little bit more about the Shriven. She tells Ben about her first time she changed into this Shriven creature. When a boy forced himself on her and she had to hurt him. I'm assuming she probably killed him, but uses the word hurt. She tells him their species can sense each other from miles away. Very much like the movie Sleepwalkers. That's what it kind of kind of like a cheaper budgeted Sleepwalkers at times, with the creatures changing. Does feel some does feel like both of them will die, later on. Lise comes back to Ben's apartment to see what is going on with Ben and Nina. And at this point, Elise is full monster, and Elise sees it, and she starts to scream. And with the monster hunters outside lurking, they hear the scream, and they go to run in and investigate. But the Shriven couple, Ben and Nina, get away just in time. Elise goes with the hunters. That's Ben's ex or whatever. I don't know. Basically his constant, but kind of ex after, what happened with him and Nina. Elise goes with the hunters, and they show that he goes, or Elise goes with them, and they show her the compound for their monster hunting get up, if you will. Like there's guns and weapons and bullets and that kind of thing. Like they're prepared. They're prepared for further adventures with the Shriven and any monsters that are plaguing the Earth. Uh, I kind of feel like there might possibly in this universe be more than just the Shriven. Like they have other Shriven that they might want to go after as well. Just kind of get that vibe. Just because of their arsenal, it's a little too big for to just go after Nina and Ben. Complete with weapons and ammo, as I mentioned. These guys are equivalent to a team of modern day Van Helsings. In this case, they're not hunting vampires; they're hunting the Shriven. Uh, According to the lead hunter, Nina has seeked out Ben since the beginning, and she wants Ben to mate. I guess that's why she seeked him out, because I don't know, she wants to have kids with him and pass on the Shriven gene, for a family of Shriven. We then see Nina and Ben uh, together. She must have conjured up some kind of uh, bit of a outing with a bunch of women that are into bondage and stuff like that. Nina gets erotic, if you will, in this scene. I'm not going to go into detail about that. Uh, but she dispenses the beach girl in gruesome ways. Uh, Ben watches in shock because he doesn't want to partake in killing him, and it more or less was a setup for him to get or to get his first kill. He doesn't want no part of it. At this point, he wants to leave, but Nina warns him about going to the apartment. The next scene, we see, in fact, Ben is back at the apartment, so Nina makes us wonder if all the night before, with her killing these girls, was ever a thing, because it's just like she's already there in the apartment with him after he'd already had left. It just kind of makes you second guess if that was a dream, because he's having like dreams in his apartment on the couch. Which kind of makes you kind of second guess the whole scene. She tells him that basically killing is the only way. Uh, she gets a little ticked off at him because he doesn't really still get the whole point of the Shriven, and she leaves. At this point, the hunters show up and they tell him they were the ones that left the photos at his door early on. Basically, they start to juice him up and kind of keep him at bay so he doesn't attack them. But it's not fully working on them, and he starts to attack the group of hunters. Ben tells Elise, to his constant that started off the movie, his girlfriend, to leave, and he makes a break for it down the building stairs. It is then hinted that our lead scientist is actually working with Nina, so he's double crossing the group of hunters, if you will, as well. We see Ben at this point sick and falling to the street because he needs to feed, and he's not. It shows a scene where Nina and the scientist are actually double crossing the team. Well, he is, she isn't, but the team asks him later on where he's been. He's basically been in bed with Nina. He takes the stuff that he needs from her, and basically he lets her live in, more or less for his own gain more than anything. So he's not really heavily into the monster killing at all. I think he just does it, more or less. At this point, Nina is very influential with Ben in the movie too. She knows he's weak and he needs to eat, and she's using that against him through the entire movie. It's shown that off in the distance, the pimp that was earlier in the movie that was slapping around the prostitute. At least that's what I took it as. I didn't think they were boyfriend girlfriend. He was awful mean if he's a boyfriend or, but I believe it was a pimp and a prostitute. Ben tells him to stop because he's gonna hurt her, or kill her possibly. Uh, the pimp tells him to mind his own business and punches Ben, causing him to basically start to transform. Ben hurts the man in the scuffle, and now Nina is on the prowl and is chasing down this pimp. She kills him, and she waves a part of the man's carcass in Ben's face. And he does eat it eventually, but it was so little that it probably wouldn't, do much for his stability in terms of appeasing his hunger, if you will. The couple go back to Ben's apartment. At least it looks like Ben's apartment. It could have been Elisa's apartment because some of these cheaper movies, like, they probably only have limited backdrops of where they can be. But she's making a pot of coffee or tea. At this point, Elise and Ben are full monster. At this point, Elise ends up injecting Nina with some kind of serum. It's in like a vial, and you can see like it's into her skin. Ben gets protective of Nina, but Elise flashes a camera because they don't like light. It's determined that the Shriven are much better at night than they are during the day. Weakens them. And as I say, the Shriven don't do well with light. Almost kind of like the Magua. No, not quite like that, but you get it. It's like they're weaker with the light. With all the commotion going on, it's attention to get the attention of the hunters. The hunters come and investigate. I don't know. They must have the world's best hearing because, even a scream from the distance that's away from the car to the apartment building, I don't think they would have heard it. So, yeah, I don't think they would have heard it so clearly. But it's funny at the same time. But I get what they were going for. Nina is then shown interrogating the scientist in the group about the injections because she feels betrayed by the scientist. Nina asks him about all of his notes and the trial stages about the serum because she doesn't want him selling it to the highest bidder. She basically kills the scientist in a grotesque fashion. I'm not going to go into detail on that either because it is pretty gruesome. It seems Nina has set up a trap for our monster hunters too when they begin shooting her, but not before she annihilates the entire team member by member. Some really cool kills in this. Like I said, I'm not going to go into detail about that either because the killings are really on the squeamish side for some people. Ben is seen stammering. He's seen stammering because he still needs to feed. He goes in and he sees the monster hunters are all murdered, but the lead monster hunter. And he gets a call from Nina. It's kind of funny because I don't ever really remember him having a cell phone or any of that stuff, or just kind of like. I think that was like the only call in the entire movie. Usually in the newer, well, this ain't a newer movie, but it is labeled 2021. Usually you see a lot of cell phone play in these kind of movies. Let's see. Oh, she gets a cell phone, or he gets a cell phone call from Nina, and it shows Elise being tied up. She tells Ben that, or the lead vampire or the monster hunter tells her that he cannot go after Elise because it's too dangerous, and he says if you leave, your soul will be damned. Ben leaves anyway, knowing the consequences. Ben goes to find Elise, and he finds Nina as well. She insists Ben fight her in full monster because I think she's trying to get him to want to kill Nina because he needs to feed. That's the reason why I think she wanted them to change, but maybe not. but she wants to get into a fight with the real monster, as I say. The two begin to scuffle. Nina pretty much gets the upper hand, but Nina gets overconfident about standing over him, kind of turns her back, and Ben turns the tables on her, leaving her trapped, if you will. Ben and Elise are shown making out or making or going out of the building, but Nina jumps Ben from behind and smashes his head on the wall, and he's bleeding pretty profusely on one side. Nina then wants to inject a serum to make him stronger, and Elise is pleading with her not to do it because you could kill him. Maybe giving him too much, and he don't know if his body will be able to handle this dosage, and she doesn't care because it's all about Nina in this movie, pretty much about what she wants, not really what Ben wants or anything or anyone else. It looks like to be police or with Monster Hunter or military. I'm not sure. It could have been a bunch of people that worked with him. It's not really determined who they are, but they are wearing like SWAT team kind of gear, and they start to zap Nina with all these like taser like things, and she's being zapped. Nina at this point is still trying to make an escape and decides to come back because she's still kind of weak, but she's able to get up and get out, and she's been basically taking out members of the team in graphic fashion. Ben, for some reason, the monster hunters and the team are zapping Ben too, and I don't really understand it because he's not being hostile. It's kind of a weird moment because he's, like I say, he's not. He's just there to get Elise. He's not there to hurt anybody. He's just there to get her and get out. And they're zapping him, and they're making it worse rather than better. Because it's determined throughout the Monster Hunters are not the greatest of people either. I get their whole ploy is that they're basically the Monster Hunters were a team that had lost people. Like they had lost family members, and they were killed or harmed in some really bad way, and that's why they want revenge on Nina, is because she did all of this to their family. That's determined later on, or by now in the movie. And basically they want revenge on the killing of Nina, which I totally get them wanting to kill her, because they did lose family members, and they were harmed and whatnot. But it's shown, it looked like to me, Elise grabbed the serum that's in the needle, and it looked like she could have injected herself. I'm not sure. It just looked like she had it, and it like panned away from her. It looked like she had injected herself. I'm not sure. It's not really determined. She's kind of like, this scene, Elise is kind of like she's there, but she's like not. Like, she's like a phantom character at this point, because you can see her in the distance, but they don't really have her doing much or saying much in this scene. It just kind of seemed like they should have had her say something. And she's off in the distance, and Nina's really weak at this point, and she's on the ground, and she's telling Ben that she needs to feed. And then the lead hunter says they need to basically kill all monsters. That's the reason why they're killing Ben. They want to rid the world of all monsters. Then we see, finally we get to the point where we see a flashback to the beginning where they're in a car. It's a wraparound ending, more or less. We see them in a car, and Ben and Nina have stolen the car. And I'm like, where the hell is Elise in this? It's like where'd she go? I mean, that's the thing. That's the only thing I could complain about in the movie is the pacing. Like, pacing in some of the scenes were kind of head scratchers. Like, I didn't like, it felt like it was like had a pacing issue here and there. Like like it didn't have a means to an end sometimes in some of the scenes. But outside of that, it was a pretty fun little film. Like I say, it's a wraparound ending. They hinted technically they could have a sequel as both of them lived, and then they're fighting it out with these men by the end. But it just kind of suddenly stops. Like it could have had more movie, more of a finality, if you will. But it's not a bad little film. One complaint I do have, and I know it's just a cover, but is you'd think with a movie called Demon Mother, it'd be more like in the vein of The Ring, and it's not. It's totally like a werewolf movie, more or less, or a form of werewolf. Uh, that's the way I felt about it, but that's why I did like it here quite a bit here and there because it was about werewolves. Maybe had a different name. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they were forced at hand to name it Demon Mother. But it's a pretty solid little film. It's very graphic at times. Maybe one small other complaint is maybe for the viewers out there that are not really like that like horror might not like nudity so much here and there. It's not a lot by today's standards, but there is some decent amount of nudity. Uh, Maybe a little uncomfortableness to our horror fan out there that doesn't really like that. But pretty solid little movie. Um, it did hint at a sequel, but it being 11 years old when it was made in 2010, doubtful it'll get one. But maybe Wild Eye will, you know, not did they only distribute it, but maybe they'll uh, get with another director or whatever, and maybe make it their own. Maybe have a Demon Mother too. I have no idea. But that's my review for this morning. Pretty gruesome little flick. Pretty good take on a form of creature in the Shriven. Uh, but that's my review. And have a good day, everybody. And I'll see you again. See you later. Bye.